Okay, this is the second 5 exercises from Chapter 4. Okay, I will begin by opening the 4.6 start file. And it opens right up here in the conference room, and it says to type AR and enter for array. And then it says type PO and enter. Oh, nope, I missed a step. Select the chair at the top of the conference room table and press enter. And now type PO. You could also select polar from here or here. They like to give you several different ways to do things. Hold down the Shift key and right-click to open the Object Snap context menu and select Center. Okay, select Center and select the table's center, and that's going to be the center point of my array. I know it's hard to see it because the word is there, isn't it? But let me get near the edge of the table again. There, center point. Okay. Then type 12 in the items text box. That's up here. Type 12 in the items text box. And toggle on associative, rotate, and direction if they're not already on. But they are blue, so they are already on. Click to close the array. Now I'm just going to back out for just a second here. I know I'm recording, and I know I'm sharing my screen, and yes, I wanted to make sure I had my microphone turned on. Great. Okay, let's go back here. The table's a bit too large. Click the circle to select the table, and then click the circle's top blue quadrant grip and move the cursor down and type 4 feet 6. That's going to give you a new radius of 4 feet 6. What a cool way to scale the table, huh? Press enter, then escape. Okay, so I had to get out of my array tool, I guess. Page 76, step 7. Click any one of the chairs, because the array is associative, so they're all connected to one another. Hover the cursor over the base point grip, that's this one right here, hover, and select stretch radius from the little context menu that comes up, and type 5 feet 9 and enter. And the chairs are all going to move a little bit closer to the table. Press enter and then escape. Okay, and now I need to save this. So I go up to Save As. And I save all of mine always in my documents, which would be right here. I have a Chapter 4 folder set up, and I just put my initials in front of them. I think it's probably easier to add your initials after them, isn't it? Okay. So that is 4.6. Actually, there should be a 4.5 in here. I know when I did the video demonstration for the first 5, I didn't demonstrate saving that last one, but you would have all 5 of those saved in the first one. Okay, this one's ready to close. Let's open 4.7 Start Menu. Hmm. 4.7 Start. And we're going to be in the stairs? Okay. I will probably have you leave part of step 3 and not do part of step 3 because they also have you do the exact same thing in step 5. Navigate to stair B. Okay, I'm on page 77. Click the Extend tool in the Modify panel. It's nested under Trim. Okay. Select the inner line of the bottom core wall. That would be this line right here, down here. Click that and press Enter. Create a crossing window by clicking points A and B. And that's a little teeny cross as shown in the illustration down there. A little teeny crossing window right there, like that. Okay? Then it says click each remaining tread line one at a time to extend all the stair treads to the core wall, and press Enter to end the command. But they'll actually have me extend these in step 5, so I'm not going to worry about them right now. I'm just going to press Enter. Page 78, step 4. Type TR, just another way of getting into Trim. Select the upper and lower handrail lines, that would be this one and this one, to act as cutting edges, and press Enter. Make a very narrow crossing window right here, like that, a little green window right there like that. Remember, you have to make a rectangle, you can't click and drag, you got to click and let go and then click the other corner. And press Enter, and they are all trimmed out. Over here now, select Extend, or they typed EX, didn't they, and entered. Okay. Select the inner line of the bottom core wall again and press Enter. So that's what I'm extending to. And then it says pick the 5 missing tread lines. So that's why I didn't do them in step 3, because they have me do them here. And I want to do them here because they kind of do a special trimming right there. Okay. Then it says press the space bar to repeat the Extend command. All right. Select the upper and lower railings again and press Enter. Okay. Now, when I'm right in the middle of the Extend command, it says if I hold the Shift key down and click each one of these, they will trim. So Extend and Trim are somehow interconnected to one another. If I'm in the middle of the Extend command and hold the Shift key down, I can trim, and the other way around for the Trim command. Okay. And then press Escape when you have removed all 5 of those segments. And this would now be a Save As in my, where's my documents? Right here. Okay, in Chapter 4, and getting my initials in front of them. Save. Okay. Close this one, and now opening I have to keep going back and forth to places, don't I? Now opening, which one? 8. Okay. 8, start file. Oh, what's happening in 8? It opens up here in the copy room, and we're going to lengthen and we're going to stretch. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to zoom right in on this unfinished piece of equipment right here in the corner. And it says type LEN, I'm on page 79, type LEN and enter for lengthen. Type P for percent and press enter, or select percent down here in the command line. For your percent value, type 200 and enter. And then select this line. Now make sure you select it on this half, because if I would click it on that half, it would lengthen in the other direction. So right there. And press escape. Okay, I'm going to zoom out a little bit now. And it says type S and enter for stretch. That's a cool way to get into the stretch command. Implied windows won't work for stretch. Those are the blue windows. Only crossing windows, the green ones, or crossing polygons are acceptable. Click point A right here, and then point B is selected so that The green double doors are completely inside the rectangle, and your rectangle cuts through the wall just below the double doors and just above the upper double doors. Excuse me. And press enter, and let's turn the page and see what we have to do. Toggle on ortho if it's not already on. Mine is not already on. Okay. Click a base point off to the right side of the door opening, well away from the geometry so that you do not inadvertently snap to anything. Move the cursor down vertically and type 2 feet 6 and enter. And you have stretched the doors down to the middle of that wall, and we are now ready to save this one. Save as, Documents, Chapter 4 folder, adding my initials in front of them. Hopefully I'm getting a little better at this. Okay. And closing this one and opening number 9. The number 9. The number 9. Okay. Number 9, start file. Where are you? Okay, what's going to happen in number 9? Offset and mirror. Okay. Click the Offset tool in the Modify panel. That's right here. Type 4 and press Enter. Select the elliptical arc at the bottom edge of the copy room. That's this wall right here. Command line asks you to specify a point. In this case, click anywhere above the arc. So I'm going to click right there. Okay, step 3. Type F and enter. Okay, I'm going to use fillet. Oh, I'm still in the offset command? I think I needed to press escape instead of enter after the offset command. There. Now type F and enter. I do that all the time. Okay, click these two things. We're going to do a little bit of wall cleanup right here. It says hit the space bar. You will be back into fillet, and we'll clean up the wall here on the other corner. Okay, I'm backing up to find out what I have to do next. Oh, step 4, page 81. Zoom into the furniture system here that's missing 2 desks in the upper right quadrant. That would be this one right here. Click the mirror tool on the Modify panel. Make crossing windows that would get like that desk set and that desk set. So I have to do 2 separate crossing windows because I don't want to get any of these red lines. Then press Enter, so all of this stuff is selected. It's asking me for the first point of a mirror line. It says click this point right here. The illustration down at the bottom says click this point A. Point B is clicking anywhere that is right straight above this line. So apparently I have to turn ortho on again because it's not on. So let me turn ortho on and come up here and click any point and then press Enter so that command is ended. And there's one more mirror on page 82. It says press Enter to get back into the mirror command. Double click your mouse wheel. That's a zoom extents, so you can see the entire floor plan here. Now the illustration is not correct because it says to select this group down here and copy it up to here. But we're going to select this group up here and copy it down is what we're going to do. Okay, so let's do what it says to do. Select the furniture system indicated, this one right here. Just click it. The whole thing is one item, so we can just click it and press Enter. For the first point of the mirror line, type 0, 0 and enter. For the second point, I should still have ortho on. Come straight out to the west side of the building here and click a point. to the left of the building, it says. Okay. And then press enter so that that stuff will stay there. Otherwise, it'll disappear if I don't press enter. Okay. Whoops. What am I doing here with this zooming mouse? Save my work. Save as. Documents. Chapter 4. And this way they'll be all ready to put into the Dropbox. Save. Closing and opening the very last one. I have no idea why when I'm opening files everything blinks in this dialog box like this. It has to be something, I don't know, maybe to do with my graphics card or something like that. I'm opening Chapter 4, Exercise 10, which is the last one. Yay! Editing with grips. Well, I think this is kind of fun. Okay, so it says to zoom into this area right here at the bottom, and it says select the inner line of the window wall right here, inner line of this wall, and right click and choose properties, because they want you to come over here and see that the angle right here is 173.77 degrees. Because we're going to need to type that in when we change the angle of this furniture grouping right here to match the angle of the window. Okay, so I can close that. Or it says press escape to deselect. Okay, click both sofas, click, and the coffee table. Click, click. Okay. Single blue grips appear on the sofas because they're blocks. Click the grip in the center of the coffee table, and it will say that you are in a stretch command. Press the space bar, and it'll say, oh, what happened there? Okay, let me click it again. It says I'm in the stretch command. My hand must have hit something. Press the space bar and it should say you're in a move command, and it does. Specify move point. Now turn the page and press the space bar again, and now it should finally say that you are in a rotate command. Okay, step 5 says type -CAL to get into the calculator. It doesn't tell you to press enter after that, and you really need to press enter after that before you start typing in all those numbers. So hyphen is a single quote, CAL, and enter. Okay, so now I am in the calculator mode because it's asking for the expression that I should be typing in. And the expression I type in is 173.77. That was that angle that I want this to be tipped at, and then -180, that's the angle that it's at right now, and enter. Oh, I got a hold of the window when I did those. You know what? I did that once before. I have to undo, and I have to select just these items right here. Okay, click the center of this and enter twice till I'm in rotate, -CAL, enter. Okay, and that was 173.77 -180, enter. Great. I didn't have hold of the window that time. Escape and save. Save as. Documents. My Chapter 4 folder, getting my initials in front of them. Okay, and once I get that exercise 5 saved in that folder, all my exercises would be ready to submit to the Dropbox. Okay, so that